assassination attempt, the convention, and the Secret Service. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, July the 21st. And here we are, a week past the attempted assassination attempt of President Trump. And there's a lot of questions. And there's a lot of questions that still have not been answered. And one would be is that Kimberly Cheadle should be gone. She should be fired. She should have resigned. After all, she isn't even qualified for the job. So we'll get to this in our commentary, but she was in charge of security at Pepsi, guarding your Fritos and Cheetos. Is that the person that you want protecting your president or your high executive level people that are entitled to Secret Service convention? Probably not. But again, the Secret Service and the police or whoever was involved, they were either complicit or incompetent. Pick your choice, because if you looked at the scene of where they were, okay, there were 3 buildings there. Now, are you going to really believe that one of the buildings was because of the slope of the roof that they didn't want to go up on that roof? Can you believe that they showed often that there was nobody there to watch? So again, you have to wonder, were they complicit or are they just incompetent? I mean, there were people yelling that there was somebody there, that there was a shooter there. So make up your own mind. Again, I'm not telling you how to think. I'm just telling you what some of the facts are. And certainly from what I could see, looking at the scope, this was not New York City where there was 20,000 buildings and 500,000 windows. This was 3 buildings with a shot from 130 yards, which should have been made easily. And as they say, a little luck, it never hurts anybody. But obviously a very tragic time, whether you liked President Trump, whether you dislike President Trump, the assassination attempt should never be part of what this country is about. But of course, we all know we are no longer living in the same country. Certainly, we are no longer living in the country that I grew up in, okay? Because we don't have the freedoms that we have. We don't have the privacy that we had. But of course, let's make sure that we continue with this bullshit DEI crap, okay? Which is total crap that nobody really likes. But again, you know, it all goes back to the leftist voter rights that are trying to suppress the mail-in voting from the GOP. Now again, I am a libertarian, but certainly the left has gone dramatically too far left, and trying to get and allow illegal immigrants to be able to vote. You know, voting is the right of the United States citizen, not the right of an illegal immigrant that broke the law to get into this country. Okay. And of course you have the Venezuelan TikToker who turned out to be a sergeant in Venezuela that is instructing illegals how to become squatters in people's houses because you can't get them out. But of course, nobody cares. Nobody says anything about those things. And of course, we know how much crime many of the illegals are responsible for. And I don't think that you understand the much bigger picture. There is a reason why we have immigration laws. And if you remember the question asked about being separated from children from their mother or their families, that was President Obama's law. Just to be clear, okay? Again, these are facts that cannot be gone against. These are facts that you can read for yourself of who passed what. Just like you can read who the biggest racist or one of the biggest racists in the world, which is President Biden. Again, those are facts. Those are not my opinion. You can go back and look at all the voting records going back in history and see where we come from, okay? But I think that you see dramatic problems, and of course, we see the people being treated as garbage, the American citizens being treated as garbage as we continue to see inflation rise. There's no reason that we should have this kind of inflation. There is no reason that we should be buying our oil from Saudi Arabia when we can be producing it here. It is one thing if you take care of and fix the power grid, then you might have an honest saying to say, well, okay, let's go to electronic vehicles. But we don't, okay? And who do you think that Saudi Arabia, China, would rather have in office in the next election? Weak Biden or President Trump? Okay, I mean, again, you want somebody who's weak, that's allowing you to take this country apart piece by piece, or do you want somebody who's strong that's going to probably try to prevent you? Okay. Now, again, I'm not telling you what would have happened or what wouldn't have happened. I'm just giving you an opinion as to what I think as a leader. And certainly President Biden is not a leader. But of course, we know that he's not really pulling the strings because he doesn't know where he is half the time. Okay. But he's now looking to get Supreme Court term limits, okay, on appointments, okay, looking for medical debt cancellations and for rent controls. Now, again, we are, or used to be, a free market system, okay? And granted, medical bills are out of control, okay? But granted, a lot of that came from Obamacare, okay? So let's not defend a crappy program, okay, to make it like you're doing something for the people, okay? This has gotten way out of control. The battle between the insurance companies and the battle between the doctors, who they trying to fuck, and of course we know who usually gets at the end is you and me, the American citizen. But I'll tell you one thing, okay? The assassination of Trump was brutal. The way that Kimberly Cheeto handled it was brutal. She should be fired, okay? The way that some groups are calling this guy an American hero for the assassination attempt, what does that tell you? Okay, again, I mean, what does that tell you about where this country is going and where this country has been? Okay, this is not the free America that we all grew up in, or at least if you're of my age or in somewhere in that neighborhood. Okay, this is no longer the United States of America that I know. Okay, but of course we've got. It's really that you just know that these very progressive leftists are just zealots. Okay. And, I think that you're really looking for trouble. Okay. I think that, when you look at the amount of illegals passing in this country, you look at whose jobs they're taking, you look at the number of poor people that we are creating here on our own, the lack of jobs. And again, you can look at the jobs number, and some of you are going to make the case, well, look at the BLS. Again, look at the U6, quit looking at the U3. Look at the U6 and deeper, and you'll find out that more people have given up looking for a job. Okay, interest rates, there is going to be no rate cut. Okay, if they're telling the truth about the economy, which that could be questionable, because of course, as I always ask you, look at your own spending, look at how hard you're working, and you can make the decision. If you're among the wealthy, if you're among the upper middle class and above, you're thrilled with what's going on because it's making it better for you. But if you're on the bottom side of that, you're in a recession, you're having trouble making rent, you're having trouble living paycheck to paycheck. So again, that's something that you can take up. Mortgage delinquencies are rising, okay? And we've already got 600 regional banks claiming problems. You don't think that the other banks are over leveraged? Warren Buffett's dumping a lot of his Bank of America stock. And again, I'm not saying that means anything about the bank, but I will tell you that 600 regional banks are already claiming problems, which means that there's probably 1,200. And I'm telling you that, in my opinion, the big banks are also in trouble, and we're going to have a repeat or similar to what happened in '08. But of course, if you're a banker, why would you care? When you know that the Federal Reserve is going to be there to bail you out, which means that you, the American taxpayer, are going to get the same privilege of bailing them out once again. And of course, the CrowdStrike thing and the Microsoft update was pretty scary on Friday. I mean, again, first of all, half my software was down, and some, what I do for a living was down, and so was many others. But it just goes to show you how weak our whole system is from the power grid and everything else we do. And again, this is not Biden's fault. This has been going on forever. And as I've told you before, every presidential candidate in my lifetime has promised to fix the infrastructure. So far, zero has done so. But don't you think it's about time? See, this is where the voters have to step up, because we are dangerously close to a civil war. We are dangerously close to becoming communist or Marxist or socialism. And I can't imagine that anybody here would truly want to give up the free market system that allows anybody to have the opportunity to go from rags to riches by figuring out something and working hard and putting some things into what you're trying to do. But I think that, look, new homes are unaffordable. Rent is going to be soon unaffordable. You've got a crazy amount of things going on, and none of it is good for you, the American person, the American people. Okay. Again, from your grocery prices, which are ridiculously high, and every other single part about it, from the assassination attempt of a former president, from the politics, from the trying to legally go after a guy to get him out. Now, again, you're seeing all these cases are dropped. You're seeing Menendez got convicted for taking money. So you're seeing that it was all bullshit going all along the way. So if you think about the abuse that has been taken by President Trump over the last 8 years, and you look at the real facts now, the real facts are now coming out. That was all bullshit. But nobody's gone after Hillary Clinton. Nobody's gone after Biden, the Biden family. Hunter Biden is still running around. So again, that's a choice you make yourself. It's your own decision. I cannot tell you what to think, nor do I want you to tell the ones you think. I want you to think for yourself. But I also want you to look at your own life and think about how your life could be better or worse. That's what it comes down to. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, July the 21st. We're going to step out of a break, and we'll be back with our market update right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. What's up, kids? Well, as we said, we always have some sponsors we talk about during our break, and mine are brokerage partners. And again, I tell you, I have many brokers, so I'm not telling you to switch. What I'm telling you to do is to look and see if you can find something better for yourself. I'm a big believer in finding better, and certainly I think I found the best two for the average person, although I do have others. But of course, TRADIER Brokerage and Capital Trading Group, they're wonderful partners, and they do wonderful things for our members. And I think that it's something for you to take a look at, because with TRADIER, it's $10 a month flat. I don't know where you're going to ever beat that. And of course, during the CrowdStrike problem, they were up and running. Now again, and I know Schwab wasn't, but that's not an indictment of Schwab. It just depends on how lucky they got. But I just wanted to say to you that our brokerage partners are by far the best in my opinion, but check them out. Their websites are on the side of the page. And of course, we are no longer associated with Wealth Charts. But of course, you can look on the bottom and see our high school program, because of course, we want to continue to try to educate. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and our market commentary. Welcome back. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, July the 21st. Well, the markets had an interesting week, and again, I don't make predictions. I did tell you last week that we were very much overbought, and I would expect some selling, even though we were long. And of course, we did get some pretty substantial selling, especially in the NASDAQ. And I think that's one of the things you want to always recognize is there's going to be certain markets that are going to break first. And the NASDAQ that actually broke about 8 days ago didn't come back and make new highs, where the Dow and the S&P did come back and make new highs. But that was the first, I think, weakness in the armor. And of course, the Russell went ballistically higher until the end of the week. I think you're in for some selling here. Now, again, I'm not telling you that we're going down to zero. I'm not telling you this is the big collapse, but the trend has certainly changed, and we will be short coming in across the board tomorrow. Again, we may be flat again. Remember, I'm giving you the direction of where we think it's going, but of course, we could be flat. We do go flat certain positions, which means, and somebody once asked me what is going flat. Well, in the future side, we just close the position. In the equity side, we close the directional part of the trade. But again, I would suggest to be careful, but we would be short all four major indices. In the dollar, we would be short the dollar. It would be long the euro current currency. It would be long the Bitcoin. which obviously you saw got a lot of benefit from a lot of things that happened with Trump and other things in the economy. We'll be long the notes and the bonds. And of course, in the metals, we'll be short silver. We'll be long gold still. And in platinum, we don't trade, but platinum would be short. Copper is short. The grain markets are short. Although there was a little bit of action in wheat on Friday, but that's something that you would look for. Okay, and of course in the cattle markets, no, we don't trade them anymore. I personally do. I'm still short cattle, and I think you're going to see cattle break the 180 level this week. And I'm still long hogs, and I think you're going to see 93, 94 into the hog market this week. And of course, natural gas, we're still short, and I'm getting to that point of the year where I start getting concerned about being short natural gas at these prices. But for now, we're still short. And of course, we'll be now reversing crude oil to short. Now, the soft market, we're eliminating the softs from our positioning. Okay. So, but again, for now, so you know where we're going to stand, we would be short cocoa. Apologize. We'd be long cocoa, but we're going to be getting out of it as soon as we get some down movement. Okay. We're going to be short cotton, but we'll be getting out of that the next time it reverses up. We're already out of sugar, but sugar would be short. We're still in coffee, which is still long, and we're out of OJ, which would be long. So again, we're getting rid of them because of the lack of liquidity, the lack of opportunity. It just doesn't make sense. There's better things to do. So again, I think overall, just be careful. We did see a little rise in volatility. And I think if you go back and look at Wednesday, when the market was higher and the VIX was higher, that was a pretty good warning sign telling you that maybe something was coming up. But we'll see. Don't be surprised to see a little bit of a rally, but I think overall we're going to see some lower prices here for the next week or two. And then we'll kind of get a feel for what's going to go on as we get closer into some of these economic numbers, the earnings numbers, and of course the jobs number that'll be coming out. In the meantime, we're going to step out here for our final break and come back with our commentary right here on Bubba's Bottom Line. This is Todd Bubba Horowitz. Well, kids, I'm not going to go through the whole speech about the sponsors. Just remember, TRADIER Brokerage, Capital Trading Group, those are our two favorite partners. I have other brokers but these are the two that I use predominantly. A for cost, B for service and execution, because we can automate a lot of things through TRADIER and through CTG. Check them out on the sides for their website, our high school program on the bottom. And let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, July the 21st. And we talked about the assassination, which was a horrible thing. And no matter which candidate it is, it's a horrible thing. But I think the real problem we have to talk about is this DEI crap and the diversity about jobs. And again, I don't know about you, but if I'm the president of the United States, or if I'm looking for Secret Service protection, I don't think that I should have to worry about whether or not it's 30% women or whatever it is. I do believe that the Secret Service and those types of jobs should be for the best candidate, not because I'm trying to meet a quota. Okay. I think that in many jobs, it should be the best candidate, especially when you're talking about those of life and death. And I think that Kimberly Cheadle did a horrific job making her either complicit or incompetent at her job. In either case, she should be out. Okay. I think that overall, we have seen a lot of weakness in many of our very, very important careers and jobs out here. And a lot of that's created by this diversity, trying to make everybody equal. Now, again, I don't know about you, but when you're born, you have a chance to do things. Okay. And there's a lot of roads that you can pick on the way. And I think that this is a problem, that we've made it where you have to hire X amount of X. And, again, I think that for certain jobs, it has to be the best qualified people. I assure you that the Navy SEALs don't have a quota of what they have to hire, okay, or who can become a Navy SEAL. And I think that would be the same thing for the Secret Service and for the protection of our leaders in this country. No matter which side you're, I would think you would want that, because we are getting wackier and crazier people in this country, because when you keep making people poor and you keep taking away their freedom and things that they want, you create monsters and you create animals, not to mention all the illegal immigration that's going on. And a lot of that is done because, of course, a lot of the cartels and things going on. So I think it's important that we take the best person for the job and not worry when it comes down to the protection of our leaders. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday. Everybody have a great weekend. We always appreciate you stopping by. And again, big things happening and big things coming up. And let's just make sure that we're prepared for it all. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. We'll see you tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update.